Hey everybody, well, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, is explain where I get a lot of my stuff and where to find certain things. I only have 25 minutes on my camera, so I might have to split this up into a couple videos, so we'll see how far we get, and then we'll go from there. Currently fighting off a massive cold, so that's always fun because it's still below zero in Michigan most of the days, so keeping warm with some Vernors heated up in the microwave. So I'm going to try and upload all these pages to Facebook so you guys can look at them, or even, copy and paste them and print them out. But I did a little key to say where to get most of the stuff, and we're just going to jump right into it. So we don't have a lot of time, at least for this video. I want to cover at least the steel, because this is probably the longest one. Okay. Well, you can get a steel in a lot of different places. I work for a tool and die company, so I kind of have, other options of getting steel, but I mostly buy them from stores that anyone can just walk into and buy, or you can go online and anyone can buy it from them. Their prices are not bad. Surprisingly, steel is cheap. I mean, depending on how much you get, it can get pricey. I prefer a lot of O1 tool steel. It's easy to heat treat and harden at home. You can toss it in an oven and temper it. You can get a pretty good edge with that. It is brittle at some point, so you do have to watch out for that. But there's a lot of videos on heat treating tool steels and other steels like that on YouTube. That's where I learned a lot of my heat treating when I first started out. And then from working in a steel company, tool and die company, I picked up things here and there. But my O1 tool steel, there's a place called KBC Tools, which kbctools.com. They do have places around the country. I'm lucky enough to have one literally down the street. But that's where I get a lot of my tool steel from. The prices aren't bad. I don't gotta pay for shipping, so I can go and pick it up. And they have a wide variety. They have a lot of links that are really wide. Like when I made that the Ogama, I had to get a piece that was, I think, 10 or 12 inches by 18 inches long. So that, it was over $100 for that huge piece of 3/16 inch thick piece of steel. But KBC Tools has got a good selection of O1 tool steel. This next place I really do love, I got it marked as MCM, is McMastercar.com. Now you're going to see this on a lot of different things on this whole list, because you can get damn near anything from them. Only issue is when you order stuff from them online, they never really tell you the shipping charges, so I couldn't really tell you how much the shipping is. It can get pricey at some point if you're ordering mass amounts of steel and weights, and it goes by weight. But they do have a lot of different things you'll see on this list as we go through it that you can get from McMaster-Carr. I really do like them. They got a place down in Ohio, so shipping is only like a day or two for me, and they have pretty good prices. The next is NJ. It's a new place that I found that has really good shipping rates and really good prices, and they got a variety of other things. You'll see that down on the list right here under this knife stock and other tool steel. You'll see them again right there. But that's NewJerseySteelBaron.com. Great place to get steel, good shipping, and they got a lot of different varieties. But I like using tool steel, O1 tool steel. It's easy for me to work with. That's my preferable steel that I make my Kama blades, kunais, everything else out of. Then your next option is 5160 spring steel. You can see you can get it from these two places, different links and everything. I do like this. It is easy to work with. It's softer than the tool steel, so Easy to heat treat, easy to temper. I've made a couple things out of this. My next project is probably going to be out of the spring steel. It's good knife blade steel. 1018 or just cold roll regular mild steel. You can get it from McMaster-Carr, Lowe's, Home Depot. TS is Tractor Supply. ME is Menards. It's the stuff you see in the racks. That's a lot of the stuff that I use for things that don't need to be hardened or anything like that. That's what I use. If you see down here, the 1/8 round rods, I wind that around a 1/2 inch dowel for the connecting rings, and then I weld it. That's for like the connecting chains to other things. You see those rings on a lot of things that I use. I got a whole box of those that I made up. And you can use other sizes. I've used 3/16 before, but the 1018 you can pretty much get anywhere else. This stuff does not heat treat very well. You have to do a super quench, which you can look that up. But it's not bad steel for doing, stuff that doesn't need to have an edge on it. Even making shuriken out of this, bow shuriken, is totally fine. Knife stock and other tool steel, like I said, that New Jersey Steel Baron, they got, 1095, 1075. I think they have chromoly. I think they have D2. What else do they got? They got all different types of stainless. Great prices. Their shipping is not expensive at all, and I really liked them. I wish they would sell stuff that was a little bit wider, because I like to have my the tang go down a little bit further. But good for like kunais and knives and other stuff if you want to get into that. A 1-inch outer diameter steel tubing with about a 62 thou wall thickness, seamless tubing. That means there's no seam in it. That's what I use for all my locking collars on my commas and anything else that I affix to my wooden dowels. I use this a lot because I like using 1-inch round wood handles, and this works really great. Sand it down, or I turn it on a lathe because I have that availability. But you can get that at Tractor Supply, or you can order it through McMaster-Carr. Tractor Supply has a lot of things that like Lowe's and Home Depot don't. I think a 3-foot piece costs like $14, and a 3-foot piece that'll last me a good while. You can use copper or steel tubing from like the plumbing sections at Lowe's and Home Depot. I have used copper before. It's just as good. I mean, to me, it's more of an aesthetic, choice if you want that copper coloring. The steel tubing, you can use that for a lot of different things. This little note that I have, I always carry a small scale. It's about 3 inches long, just a small ruler. Because anytime I'm in Lowe's or Home Depot, I'm always walking around, and you'll be surprised some of the random places you'll find tubing that'll fit, different size pieces of wood you're looking for. I just always carry that on me, just so I can measure something. Because I've definitely found, for instance, my naginata that I made, I had to have a certain locking collar, certain size, and I ended up finding it, or at least one part of it, in the plumbing section under, I think it was like a pipe fitting for underneath your sink, like a straight piece of tubing, and it just happened to be the right size, and I was able to measure it, and I picked it up and was very happy about that. So I just always carry that on me whenever you're at. I have it in my wallet. I wish I had my wallet on me right now, I'd show you, but I always carry that around just in case I need to measure something. So steel, it's really not that hard to get. You just have to know where to get it. If you're looking for a lot more knife stock, there's a lot of other companies besides New Jersey Steel Baron. Knifekits.com. You can just type in knife steel and you'll come up with a bunch of crap. One of the biggest things that took me a while to find was the round steel weights that I use. These are a soft polish carbon steel, which means they're not hard. They're made from 1018. They got lots of sizes. I use 1 3/8 or 1.5 inch, and then I drill a hole through them. But they have all different sizes. They got different materials. It's bearingballstore.com or Tool Supply. That's their eBay store, and that's where I get a lot of my stuff from. Great shipping, fast, great prices. I love that store. I couldn't tell you how many times I've bought ball bearings from them, and always awesome. So that's my big tip, is if you're trying to make a round weight, you know, you can buy round steel balls that are not hardened. And I think even some of them you can buy that have a threaded hole in it to where you won't even have to drill. You can thread in your own, you know, bolt and drill a hole in the bolt, and there you go. So definitely if you're looking for round weights, and they even have sizes up to, I think, 2 inch. I think even larger, depending. I don't know. I haven't been to this store in a while, because I stocked up on ball bearings a while back. So that's a huge tip. This took me a long time to find where to get soft steel ball bearings that I could drill through and turn into weights for Kusarigamas and Kusari Fundos and all different types of other fun stuff. So that's pretty much the steel aspect. You can go into copper and brass. You can find that, you know, in the plumbing sections in most stores. Brass might be a little bit harder to find, but you're mostly going to find round tubing. You're not going to find so much flat steel, or I'm sorry, flat copper or flat brass. But what I have done to make a habaki on a, let me see if I can grab it real quick. It's right next to me. Yeah. If I can get it out of the sheath. There we go. I can't really see it that well, but that habaki on there, I actually made it and indented the sides. That's actually made from a piece of copper tubing that I cut and then hammered flat, and then cut the hole in it. So that's a good tip to, if you're making your own habaki, you want to use copper or brass. You know, go buy a piece of tubing and cut it and hammer it flat. Take a little sandpaper to it, polish it up. It looks great. So that's really that aspect. Man, my nose is just horrible right now. Okay, onward and upward. Wood. Oh, I can barely breathe. I use oak for probably 99% of everything that I do. I like the way it looks. It's a hardwood, it's tough. It's not expensive, but it's easily available. Oak rounds and flat pieces of oak, like I use for, what did I use it on? This, the sandals that I made, the water spider. You can get that at Lowe's, Home Depot, or Menards. Menards is a new place that just started coming out in Michigan, and there's one locally by me, and I went in there, and that place is pretty cool. They got a lot of stuff. I use a lot of 1 inch and 1 inch and 1/8 oak rounds, mostly for my handles for almost everything that I do. It varies back and forth sometimes. I like to use the 1 inch because having a locking collar is a lot easier to find than the 1 1/8. I'm working on something right now that's an 1 1/8 round handle, and I actually had to make a custom locking collar for it, which was a pain in the ass. But if you're looking for a different type of wood, I do use ash. 1 1/8 ash wood poles. You can get those on the garden sections and a replacement, like shovel handles and stuff like that. They're about 5 feet long. That's what I actually made my. Actually, that's what this spear over here, that short and yard right there, that's made out of that ash wood cut down. I like ash. It's light. If you're looking for something bigger, like a big spear pole, the only place that I found that I actually like, and the shipping was a little expensive. It was almost as much as the pole. There's a place called ShrillTree.com, and they sell the large octagon ash poles. Like I said, shipping can be expensive. That's what. Let me get that lanyard out of the way. That's what my big Greek spear is. It's from ShrillTree.com. I wish that stuff wasn't so expensive. I'd have probably 5 or 6 of these poles just sitting down in my garage waiting to be made into something. They look great. Nice length on them. I had to cut this down just because of the height of how I needed my spear, and I actually made a comma out of it. I think I did a video on it. But great wood. I'm a big fan of ash. I wish I could find more of it, but I'm not a woodworker, so I don't really, have table saws and planers and routers and all that other fun stuff that I could turn into pieces like that. I usually have to have help with that. So that's pretty much what I use for wood. Wood's not a big problem for me. I find it's easily available. So we'll go on from there. What's next? Plastic. I got about 8 minutes left, so I can probably go over plastic and chain. Then I'm going to have to stop and do another video. Plastic, I really don't use that much. I use a lot of it for the training weapons. Like I said, go to Walmart, Target, hell, probably even the dollar store. You can buy a cutting board and cut it out with a jigsaw, or even a handsaw. But that's pretty much what I use for my plastic. And what's nice is that depending on what store you go to, you can get different colors. I like to use the white just because that's at the store right across the street from me, so I can get it very easily. If you're looking for Kydex, which I don't work with, I've tried, and for some reason I just can't do it. KK on the key. That is knifekits.com, which you're going to see them a little bit more of what they offer probably in the next video. But I really like that store. They got great prices. So, we'll stop. I'll just spend the next couple minutes talking about other options of things. When it comes to, we'll go back a little bit. I know this is kind of stupid, but steels. It's not. You don't have to buy just a piece of steel and turn it into something. I use a lot of files. A file can be hammered out and turn into a great kunai. Can turn into a great knife. I actually have. Let's see if I can grab this. These are two just mini side projects that I've been diving into. That's a knife blade that I've been tinkering around with every once in a while. And this was actually made from an old file. It's a very thick file. It's about a 1/4 inch thick. But so far it's turned out to be a pretty decent knife blade. And then you got, same thing, but that's from a piece of 01. It's only about an 1/8 inch thick. Kind of stopped working on this one. But you don't have to always buy steel. You can, you have to buy it, yeah, but go to a flea market and finding, old files and turning them into knives. I could have easily, this file was probably about a 1/4 inch wider. I could have easily hammered that and turned it into a kunai or something. So, you don't always have to go to stores to find steel. When I first started out doing a lot of this, I would find a lot of scrap steel laying around, and once I figured out what things were made of by looking online, I realized, I could use that for, a blade. I could use this kind of steel for this, that, and the other. And then I'd actually start paying attention to what I was seeing, you know, lying around. So, I'm not going to go over tools and stuff in this because that's just a whole other video. I could spend way more time on all the individual tools that I use, but maybe I'll do that in a separate video sometime. But this is mostly what I use. I mean, I use a lot of 01 tool steel, and like I said, it's probably my favorite out of all of them, and it's not that expensive. But some of the certain, you know, tiny things like that 1/8 inch rod that you can buy for like $2 or $3, a 3-foot length of it at Lowe's or Home Depot, and I turn around a 1/2 inch dowel and then cut all of them, and that's how I get all my connection links. You know, it's simple stuff like that that, you know, it took me a while to figure out how to make things that, you know, I want to share with everyone. Because nothing should be secret, nothing should be withheld. Everyone, that's the whole point of YouTube, is to have fun with this stuff and to, you know, share knowledge. And I'm much more towards sharing knowledge than keeping everything and saying, oh, well, this is my secret. You know, one of the biggest things that I make is the Kusari Fundo. And probably in the third video of this, when I go over, you know, some of the stuff that I make, I'll flat out give the dimensions of everything. I'll tell you how I make it, because I'm not out here to make a fortune. I'm just out here to, you know, spread knowledge and get people to, you know, make their own stuff. 90% of the money that I make from anything that I sell goes right back into buying more chain, buying more steel to make something else. So it's not like I'm making a profit off the stuff that I do. Realistically, a lot of the stuff I pretty much break even. I just do this just for the fun of, I don't know, making things. I enjoy doing it. Oh, all right. I'm gonna stop here for now because I need to go blow my nose, and then I will come back with the second video, and we will go over, I think, what's next. Chain and rope, and then coatings and stuff like that. All right.